Well, hello YouTube fans, this is finally the Guardian back with another how to draw video. And today I'm going to be teaching you how to draw a suit. Now, you'll notice this character I've drawn out for the figure we're going to draw a suit on is Brody from the manga Brody's Ghost, authored by Mark Crilley. So, thank you Mark for the character. I hope you're going to like this video. So, let's get started. How to draw a character in a suit. First thing we got to do is every suit has a collared shirt underneath it. So how you draw the collar is you pick a point about right here is where I'm going to do it, and then from there you draw down the collar, which is basically an upside down V. Then with the collar, and you'll notice the guidelines. I tried to make this video and then I ran out of battery on the first attempt, so I'm starting again, but hopefully you can forgive me for this. Now I'm going to take from the collar, I'm going to draw a line up to the point where the shoulder meets the neck, and now I'm going to draw a line that's sort of more on the flat side. Well, not really flat, but only slightly curved. Wrap the collar around the neck. There we are. Now, for the next part, we're going to draw the back side of the collar, wrapping around the neck, and to do this, you just put a little dot, then a little line outward, and then a line downward to delineate the collar wrapping around the neck. It's really a fairly easy trick. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to, and if you excuse me, I'm just moving around character, we're going to do the other collar the same way. And I'll give you a heads up, there'll probably be some time lapse in this video, so I'll try my best to let you know when it's going to come. Alright, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the color of the jacket. So, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to, just below where the shirt collar begins, we're going to have the jacket collar come down. There's about where the jacket collar is going to end. Now here's where the other side of the jacket is going to end. That's a little bit too much. If this takes too long, I'm just going to time lapse through it. And alright, there we go. Looks like no time lapse is going to be needed after all. Now we're going to do the inside of the jacket, wrapping around it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a point right here, and I'm going to extend down and curve inward as we draw the line of the jacket. And we're going to do the same thing here, and I'm not going to complete this. I'm going to zoom out later to show this. But now the next part is the knot of the tie, which we're going to finish later. So for that, you just draw very simply one line here, a line across, and then you draw two lines coming down and going slightly out. Now, I'm going to zoom... Well, no. We're not going to zoom out just yet. Now we need to work on the shoulders. So for this, you need to... This is just the guideline shoulders. You're going to follow the line of Brody's shoulders, and then about here you're going to create a bend, a very sharp bend, and you're going to do the same thing over here. And now it's at about this point where I'm going to zoom out. We're going to continue on with the rest of the suit. So, just give me a second. Okay, now we're going to finish off the drawing. Well, we're going to finish off this part. So what we're going to do now is, from this line here, we're going to extend a very flat line, just a very small hint of a curve in where Brody's arm dips in, because the suit is it has a very, very flat sleeve. It accentuates a man's masculine shape, but it doesn't show off every single muscle. We're going to do the same thing with this arm. We're going to have a little bit of a dip in to indicate the fabric resting against the arm. Then we're going to have a very sharp curve, because doing like this would cause the jacket to pull a little bit. Now we're going to do the same thing with this part of the arm. The arm is flexed. This happens. Now I'm going to time lapse the rest of getting these sleeves done, and I'll come back and tell you what I did. Alright guys, well, there we are. There's the sleeve of the jacket. Now if you notice, it starts about right at where the arm meets the wrist, and it curves down and then backwards. Now we're going to add the buttons on this jacket sleeve, on this sleeve of this jacket. So for the left sleeve, we're going to have 4 buttons. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we're going to do this jacket hem. Now it's just going to be a simple, just draw a really wide C facing upward. Hold on 1 second. I do apologize for that. My dog was being a pain. Now, where were we? Oh yes, the jacket sleeve. The buttons are not going to show up on this side of the jacket, so you can just omit them. Now for the main part of the jacket, we're going to draw the chest. And it's really just simple for this side. You just kind of really mute the figure's lines. You come down to about where a little bit past his thumb, I guess is what you would say. And his thumb would end about right here, so we're going to go right almost there. That'll work. Now we're going to use the lapel. We're going to come in. And there we are. And this is right here is about where the buttons are going to be, but now we got to actually put in the lapel. So I'm going to time lapse through this too. Alright, now I'm going to just dash in Brody's tie. As you can see, I started it before. Now I'm going to finish it and just continue going down in a slightly outward line. Depending on how wide the angle is how wide the tie appears. So, there we are. And meanwhile, while we're putting this in, I have a question for you, Mark. And that is what is Brody's last name? I've always wanted to know what Brody's last name is, and I looked in both of the books that are out so far, and I could not find Brody's last name. So, I don't know, if you watch this and you leave a comment, could you please answer, what is Brody's last name? So, now that we have that, that just about wraps up the jacket. Now for the trousers. So, but before we go on to the trousers, I'll come back and I'll go ahead and tell you what I did. What I did is I put in the buttons for the jacket. Previously I put in the buttons on the sleeves. And for the jacket, since his arm is sort of resting on his side, it pulls the jacket to one side, which is why you see it's vented one side more than the other. And for that, actually, what you would do, I do apologize, is you should have just simply a vent, if you will, or maybe that's not the right word, but the buttonhole, I think is what it's called. Yeah, the buttonhole. You take a buttonhole and you just leave that there, and then the button on the suit is right underneath there. I'm going to widen it a little bit, and there we go. That'll work. So now we'll work on the trousers. So to make the trousers, you have to just simply create a thin line. You don't want a lot of thick lines for suit trousers because that would give it a look of blue jeans, I guess. And once again, we'll do very thin, flat lines to create a very pressed look on the trousers, make them look really neat. And actually, there's a little effect you can do with trousers on a suit in order to make them look that just much more authentic. Is you actually put a line down the front of each of the legs to delineate a seam. Well, actually no, not a seam, a crease. And that gives it just that much more of an authentic look. And we're just going to rough that out. I'll tighten it up when I ink the drawing later. And that's about right. Now for the rest of the trousers or pocket, you have this little line that comes up here to delineate the zipper. And then you have a little black line here and here for the belt, which we'll fill in later too. And then we're going to I'm going to hit it in a time lapse, and I'm going to get the final touches of the drawing up, so into time lapse we go. Alright, and now we ink the drawing. By the way, the ink set I'm using is a Sakura Pigma Sensei set. I'm going to go in here with the 03, and we're going to time lapse through this as well. Okay, and we ink this last one, and we are finished with the inking process. And there we go. So now we're going to take this, we're going to stick it in Photoshop, and we're going to color it, and then I'll paste this into the last slide of this video. So thank you all for watching. Take care. And for those of you who like Mark Crilley, go and buy his book, Brody's Ghost. So until then, take care.